Ever wondered what an architect actually does? It's not just about drawing cool buildings. Join me on the academic process of design, where we dive into secrets behind every awesome design, the step by step process that transforms ideas into reality. We'll unlock the secrets of research, unleash design techniques, and tackle technical challenges. Before we begin the process, subscribe to my channel and don't forget to drop your reviews, as your technique might be different from mine. So let's get started. Starting with the first step of the architectural design process is the client brief. Now, and it's about unpacking the wish list. It's basically the initial brief that you receive before the project. Now, in the academic level, it is the design brief that you receive from your instructors. But in a professional life, it is a design brief that you receive from your client, his needs and requirements, and maybe his desires. The client goals, needs, budgets, and dream for the project. It's like a treasure map guiding the architect's journey. So it's the crucial step to begin your design process. Why it's necessary? It ensures the design aligns with the client's vision and solves their specific problems. Architects need to listen carefully to decode this brief and create a design that not only looks great but also functions perfectly for the client's needs, because architect is a problem solver for the clients. So you need to hear your client's problem before you go and design anything for them. In the academic level, read your design brief thoroughly, understand that brief, the whole your whole project, your concept, your ideas, your design should be reflected on the client brief that your instructors provided during the first week of your project. Moving to the next step is research. Now, after receiving the client's brief, the architect's job is to move forward with the research. Research is the exploration of existing buildings, materials, design trends, and cultural influence. I would suggest using PowerPoint slides initially to store the data that you collect, but which you will need to scrutinize at the end. But you can also use other softwares like Microsoft Word or Notion and any other softwares that you deem fit. Now, the architectural research should be according to your architectural client brief that you received in the first step. The requirements, his desires, his details, whatever he desires, you should do your thorough research and collect data according to those things. Now, why it's necessary? It helps architects make informed decisions. Imagine a chef researching a recipe and ingredients before cooking a meal. Architects do the same. They research, they innovate, they integrate, and they research about the new world trends. All right, so they could use innovative techniques in their architectural design as to facilitate their client. Right, it's all about your client. Moving with the third step are the case studies. Now, case studies are actually learning from the pros, analysis of successful and not so successful projects to understand what works and what doesn't. It's like getting advice from an experienced architect. You should find the things that you like in the case study and things that you don't like. All right, you know that is wrong, or you know which is right. So from the case study you should grasp a clear idea of what is right and what is wrong for your project, because you are going to be studying the similar projects from an experienced architect. Materials, spaces, integrations, or any, and don't just paste its plans and images. Pick out specific idea. Now, why it's necessary is because it helps avoid common pitfalls and discover clever design solutions. Architects can learn from both the triumphs and mistakes of others to create even better designs. It's basically like getting advice from an experienced architect, from an experienced project. You study that project, you study what were their fail safes, and you avoid those fails in order to have a better design than them. That's why everyone else study the history. That's why history is studied. It's the same with studying the case study in architectural field. Now, moving with the next step is site analysis. So after the case studies that you have collected, remember your case study should be according to your research and your client briefs project, his desires and his ambitions. So all of your next steps revolves around your client briefs. Now the next step, site analysis, is actually for the architect. It's not about the client. Client doesn't know about his site. It's the architect. Site analysis basically is a detailed study of the project's location, including the climate, topography, surrounding buildings, and materials, and also natural features. It's like understanding the personality of your place. Remember, site surrounding is more important than the site itself. So, when you are designing anything, maybe it's a house, it's a commercial building, it's a hospital, it's an institute, remember, your neighborhood defines your project. Why it's necessary is because it ensures the design responds to the because it ensures that the design responds to the unique conditions of the site and creates a harmonious relationship between the building and its surroundings. Architects need to design buildings that fit into their environment like a puzzle piece. Now, for example, let's take a house in a snowy region. So the snow accumulates overnight, and it should be avoided. The snow should be avoided to accumulate on the rooftop of the house. So that's why the house rooftops are made slopy rooftops. All right, bagel roof and whatever those names. Not getting into the details for now. But comparing your project with your site is important because if you provide a flat slab on that snowy region, your structure could not bear the load of the snow that has been accumulated overnight. That is why you have to provide bagel roofs, a sloping roof, rooftops. So that's why you should study your site analysis, and it's a really crucial step for your design process. Now, these first four steps were basically revolving around the client's brief and the client's desires and wants. Now, the most steps are basically actually for the architects, his office work, what we call as a backstage work. So, moving with the fifth point is architect's brief, translating vision into words. Now, the architect's interpretation of the client's brief, outlining the design approach and key considerations. It's like a roadmap for a design journey. This is actually the stage where you discuss your ideas and thoughts that you perceive through the first three steps with your instructor. This stage can be reapplied many times. You have to go back and forth. You have to collect design briefs, design data, the data that is missing, and then move again towards the architect's brief. You have to refine it until it's perfect. So, architect's brief is basically your the architect's words. In the academic level, we have to discuss it with the instructors. They may change at some point few aspects of the client brief, so you have to look out for them as well. Why it's necessary is it clarifies the design direction and ensures everyone involved is on the same page. It's like a checkpoint to make sure the architect and client are still in sync before moving forward. So the architect's brief is for the client to inform the client of the steps that architects have taken, about the steps that they are planning to take, and the problem solving techniques that they are using in their project, so as to get the green light from the client if the project, for example, is exceeding above their budget, is breaking any kind of limitations. So it helps the architect and the client both to be in sync with each other as the project design evolve during time. After the architect's brief, which is basically architect prepares it for the client, moving with the next step is anthropometry, designing for humans, not just building. It's the step where the architects work after the architect's brief. So when clearing everything with the client, in the academic level, it's your instructor. So by client, I'm referring to your instructor. Anthropometry is the study of human body, measurements and movements to create comfortable and functional spaces. It's like making sure the design fits the people who will use it for its user. Your design is for the comfort of people or animals. You should know their comfort levels. So, by anthropometry, you should be studying the comfort level of human beings. You know the measurements. In the client brief, it would be stated that they would need a dining room, a bedroom, a bathroom, or whatever the space according to their requirements. But the measurements for such spaces is your responsibility. It does not reflect on your client. You should know the sizes of the chair, the sizes of a free roaming area, sizes of dining, of tables, of every comfort level. You should know. It's up to architect's knowledge. It does not reflect on your client. Why it's necessary is it ensures the design is user friendly and accessible to people of all abilities. Architects need to keep in mind how people will move through and use the spaces they create. So, anthropometry is really important for architects to study. In academic, in professional life, wherever they go, anthropometry is the step for your successful design. Now, moving with the next step is the concept development. Now, the generation and exploration of design ideas through sketches, models, and digital tools. It's like transforming and playing with different possibilities. It's like brainstorming and playing with different possibilities. You will need to write, sketch, draw, model, physical testing before reaching your final design that follows functionality as well as aesthetics. So the conceptual stage is basically a free form development. You have to develop any form of sketches according to your client's needs. So, if it's a house, you have to develop a form that reflects a house inside and outside, as well as its functionality and aesthetics are at extreme level. Now, for the concept development stage, I would suggest you use your pencil and a sketchbook. It's the best an architect could use. You can move with digital tools such as the iPad and Samsung notebook, etc. Or you can also refer to your AI. But the best tool to perfect your shape and form of the project is by pencil and through sketchbook. Why it's necessary is it's where the heart of the design emerges and where architects can experiment and push boundaries. It's the fun part where architects get to let their imaginations run wild. After the concept development comes the physical study of design, bringing ideas to life. It's basically a sub-step of the conceptual development where you give physical shape to your sketches. It's basically like an abstract form of your concept, of your idea, of your design. So the creation of physical models and mock-ups to test and refine design concepts, it's like taking the design for a test drive, making conceptual model smaller scale, out of scale, analyze its physical appearance and the functionality it will follow. Make sure it aligns with each other. So you can make different physical models. You can make for a house. You don't have to make a fully functional 3D model in the beginning. It's a physical. It's for your own study. You don't have to show it to anyone else. It's for your own concept. It's for your own design development. So what you can do basically is you can use any type of physical models. You can build from soap. You can build from scraps. You can build from cupboards. Cardboards. You can build from wood. You can build from a simple piece of paper. You can build from polyform. You can use any material for your conceptual physical models. Why it's necessary? It helps visualize the design in three dimensions and identify any potential issues before construction. It's like a dress rehearsal for the final design. When before going to the final stage, the actors or the actress, they choose their design dress code, their whatever they are going to wear. So they don't just go to collect from the tailor and wear it for the final stage. No, they have to wear it many times before wearing it in the final stage. That is the same with the architect. They have to make a 3D model, physical model, as to study the aspects, the shadow techniques. So the 3D model is important for those steps. So after completing your physical models and your idea, bring those ideas into your presentation sheet where you discuss with your client. In this case, it's your instructor. You discuss it. You thorough consideration, thorough analysis of your design, the know-hows, the words, the wrongs, and the rights. So after that, what you can do is after it's completed by your instructor, you have to follow your the AutoCAD, the drafting stage of your design process, where you go to AutoCAD and draft your plans, sections, and elevations. It's basically the this step is basically the backstage of your whole design process, where nobody cares about how much time it takes, what is the process. They don't care about anything at all. They just need you to deliver everything that you can do on those piece of paper. So this is the step where all of the other 8 steps are reflected on your this ninth step, where you add the drafting details for your project. What it contains basically detailed technical drawings that communicate the design to buildings and engineers. It's like the instructions manual for making the building. It's a manual for the engineers and whatever for the contractors. It is the final stage of design after confirming of every stage. Now, why it's necessary is because it ensures the design is precisely constructed and meets all the building codes and regulations. It's like the architect's way of making sure their vision is translated into reality exactly as they imagined it. So, if you were to miss any detail, if you were to miss any dimension at all, the contractor, the engineers, they are gonna just do their own superiority. They are gonna redefine your project on their own imagination, on their own thoughts. So your imaginations, your design would be doing. So don't miss out on any details. The draftings are really important step for the construction of your imagined masterpiece. Going forward with the last step, creation of panels, showcasing the masterpiece. This step is actually for the academic process, but most of the architects also repeat this step to add their project in their portfolio as well. So visual presentation that showcases the design, including drawings, models, and renderings. It's like the grand reveal of all the hard work. This step involves the summary of your complete process. Make sure your panels have brilliant visual appearance and can portray your concept and design without you speaking for it. Your designs should be visually representative. It should be speaking for yourselves. Now, for your design creations, I can suggest you use a Photoshop, or you can also use the Corel Draw or Canva or PowerPoint. But those are very limited, editions. You have to have great knowledge about those applications to know how they work and how can you design brilliant panels for yourselves. Now, Photoshop is a professional application. I myself use Photoshop for the designing of panels, and I believe it's the perfect application for designing your panels. So go ahead and create design panels that reflect your concept, that reflect your idea. So the jury, the juror, and whoever comes to see your panels can grasp the idea of your concept from the appearance of your panels. Why it's necessary is because it communicates the design effectively to clients, stakeholders, and the public. It's like the architect's way of steering their creative journey and celebrating the final design. Now, this step for academic process is advisors, is not for your instructors, is not for you, it's for your final jury. So make sure that that your panels reflect your concept, reflect your design, and reflect what you are drawing. For example, if you are designing a gaming center or gaming lounge, your panels should represent a gaming lounge. It should not be simple, dry, like with a white background and pictures all over it. It's not a way of representation. Learn visual representation for that. So, fellow design warriors, this isn't just about the end of the video. It's a spark for your own architectural odyssey. Every iconic building started as a dream, nurtured by research, shaped by creativity, and finally etched into blueprints like battle plans for a master plan. Now the tools are in your hands. Will you sketch the next skyline, sculpt heaven in the city, or craft spaces that whispers wonder and innovations? Don't just watch architecture, be the architect. Hit that subscribe button and let's build an architectural empire together, brick by inspiring brick.